Now we are live. What's up? It is the Mac and Murray College Football Show. I looked down for 2 seconds. Emacs was messing with me like, we're live. I'm like, oh, I'm not ready. Okay, let's go. But we are live right now on Twitter. So we do appreciate everyone joining us here on a Sunday night. If you're not joining us on Twitter, this will be on YouTube right afterwards as well. So appreciate all y'all. Like, subscribe, go follow us on YouTube. We got a lot of really fun content coming out this week. I got about 4 or 5 quarterback breakdowns. Emacs gonna do some stuff as well. So some really cool stuff there on social media. You know the gist. Like, subscribe if you're on YouTube. A lot to get through tonight. A lot to get through. Major games to talk about. A&M, LSU, Bama, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, BYU, Iowa, Missouri, Vandy, Memphis, USF, Texas, Mississippi State, Georgia Tech. It is crazy. Another crazy, awesome weekend. We're going to get to our top 15 teams in America as well. But before we get to it, just as we were about to hit play on the show, EMAC gives me the news from the reliable source of Pete Thamel. Sources: LSU is in discussions about Brian Kelly's future. That includes an outreach to Kelly about his potential departure. The situation is in flux. Kelly is owed $54 million in buyout money. That was 2 hours ago. And then 3 minutes ago, Pete Thamel, LSU just called a team meeting for tonight per ESPN sources that will be at 8 p.m. Central. So in an hour from now, LSU will be coming together as a football team to potentially hear that their head coach, Brian Kelly, is no longer their head coach, and they will be without him for the bye week, and then obviously leading up to Alabama and the rest of the season. So I'm not breaking news here. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't want to be to act like that I know and whatever it may be. I'm just saying there's a team meeting tonight on a Sunday after everything that went down. Kind of feels
Yeah,
like the
right.
big thing's going to happen, right, EMAC?
I mean, 100%, and that's what it's I mean, since last night when that camera kept going to him after every bad play and he's just cussing out staff members, yelling at player, I'm just like, this is over. Like this is a horrific ending. And then you hear all the hearsay all day, it's felt like. I mean, every time I look at Twitter, there's somebody else saying something via sources. And of course, with Pete Thamel saying that tonight, it's just what else could it possibly be? I mean, when do you just have these impromptu meetings at 8:00 at night? And so, yeah, it's probably over. And listen, I never thought the fit made sense. I know he's a winning coach and
He's a winning
he
coach.
wins a lot of games. Not the big games, but it's always
He
was
made
a
it to the SEC
fascinating thing.
championship his first year in the SEC 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Took over a program that had about 30 guys on scholarship when he took over.
Yeah.
Produced a Heisman winning trophy quarterback. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good. I don't like. Is it the perfect fit? Is it? I think that is a great thing that has been discussed. And yeah, maybe it isn't the perfect fit, but I am still in shock in an era in which I talk with coaches, athletic directors, other people in the administration, and everyone is penny pinching. Everyone's freaking out about money. Everyone's worried about getting players paid more money. Everyone's worried about, hey, we have to pay players $20 million from our bank account, and we need to find ways to save. That you're willing to fire a James Franklin for $57 million and then fire a Brian Kelly for $54 million. I think it is unfortunate that we're in an era where it's like you have to win a championship or
Yeah.
you're gone.
Right.
And I understand the fact that the previous 2 coaches had all the success, won championships. You're supposed to be better than those guys. You're supposed to be better than Les. You're supposed to be better than Ed Orgeron. And you came in there with everything that you built from Cincinnati to what you built at Notre Dame, and you just haven't been able to get it done. But it's still only been 4 years.
Yeah. Well,
You
I think
can't
the
tell me
interesting thing,
he's
yeah,
a bad enough coach where you're ready to pay him $54 million in
I know.
today's era to get to move on from him.
Well, some of these fan bases are just, I mean, they're little Looney Tunes, man. I mean,
Well,
they
they
think,
all
the
are.
success right now, got to have it or it's over. And I think there is a bit of, there's a track record of success very quickly. I saw a tweet. I should have sent it to you, but it was like the last 3 coaches, Nick Saban, what he did in 4 years, Les
Yeah.
Miles, what he did in 4 years, Ed
Oh, I saw it.
Orgeron, what he did in 4 years. And it was all significantly better. It was all
Yes.
significantly more impressive with championships, national championships, the record. and all these different things. And I think there was just with the contract they had in place, which by the way, a 10-year contract is ludicrous. Like why you ever would have proposed that, I have no idea. The amount of money, where he was and what he was doing at Notre Dame and what he's done is his whole career. Again, this guy is a winner. He's one of the
He's a
winningest
winner.
coaches ever. You just expected him to come to a place, and he said, come to a place with resources to win a national championship, and you're not even sniffing it. Like that's where I think there was so much expectation, and just the way he talks, I think just rubs people the wrong way enough where they're just like, get him out. Like he's not winning, get out. Like we're done.
Where's that
And
money coming from, though? That's
well,
my
yeah, I mean,
biggest
you make a
thing.
call. You make some call. Listen, Louis, they got some money in Louisiana. Them boys got some
Not
money
like
down there.
that. Not I don't
Come
know if they got money
on.
like that. That's a
Come on.
lot of money, man.
A lot of
Once
money.
again, like, it's not just that money, but obviously the hot name that everyone's gonna talk about, I tweeted about it last night, is, hey, who you have to have a plan. If you're going to fire Brian Kelly and pay him
Yeah,
$54 million, you have to have a plan of this is the short list of guys that we want. And on top of that short list is going to be Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin right now is just sitting back, having a nice cold glass of whatever the hell he wants to, just smiling, saying, I am the darling of the ball right now because everyone in the country wants me. I just had a
yeah,
monster win on the road against Oklahoma. Ole Miss is in a position to go easily to the playoffs. We'll talk about them in a little bit when we talk about that game. And I am everyone wants me, and this is going to turn into a bidding war for
right,
Lane Kiffin. So it's not only the $54 million that you have to play Brian Kelly, it's the if you get your dream guy
right.
in Lane Kiffin, it's the 14, 13, $14 million you have to pay him, plus a new staff on top of that. That is a significant chunk of change in an era where paying players still has to be a premium and obviously a big touching point
Yeah,
to be able to build a roster.
yeah. I agree.
I don't know. Like I did not agree with the James Franklin. I thought that was rushed. Oh, it's true. It's out. Wow. Okay.
Pete Nakos at On Three just reported that he's fired. So it's happening.
Wow.
Bruce Felderman reporting it. Oh, he's gone. It's over. Ross Dellinger. Y'all are watching it live. Everybody's
Let's
reporting it.
go.
Wow. 54 million. Dude, that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But again, it's where we are right now, man, in this world. And
I just
you better get it right this time, though. I mean, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And is it Lane Kiffin? Like, is Lane coming? You know, does he want to go there? Does he feel
so that's it.
anything at
That's it.
Ole
So
Miss?
between the two, what is the better job, LSU or Florida? Let's have that debate
I don't
because
think it's
I
even
still
close. I think
believe
it's LSU.
I think you would be crazy if you're LSU or if you're Florida if Lane Kiffin is not the first person that you're calling,
Yes,
right?
totally
You
agree.
have to be calling Lane
No
Kiffin.
question.
He is a proven winner. I think he's matured since all the craziness that happened early on in his career. I think he's an offensive genius. We'll talk about the game versus Oklahoma and what he did against that defense and what he's done all year long. What he just did to Georgia on the road a week ago, too. He's an offensive genius. We talked about last week. He's completely in tune with today's game from NIL to the transfer portal. He is the guy.
Yeah.
And we've seen the rumors of what Florida is, you'll kind of put in front of him $13 million, going to make him the highest paid coach in America. But to the question, EMAC, what is the better job,
Yeah.
Florida or LSU?
I think it's LSU. I don't think it's even remotely close. I think
Wow.
LSU's the best now that it's literally open right now. It's the best job by far. You have history, you have tradition, you have unbelievable track record in the NFL. You have a great recruiting bed. One thing with being with Jimbo Fisher, all these months and weeks of this thing, he raves about Louisiana and the
Yeah.
recruiting bed there. He said, you just walk down the street, flip over a rock, there's a 5-star defensive lineman waiting for you to pick him up. I mean, it's just the talent that he, raves about there,
Well,
wide
there's a
receivers
lot
as
of
well.
hidden talent too in Louisiana, like
Ton,
guys that aren't even
ton.
recruited very highly. Like
Exactly.
a lot of
Because you
those
can't find
receivers that
them.
they've had,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
a lot
you
of
got to
those
go on those
receivers that they've
farms.
had over the past decade weren't all 4 and 5-star guys.
Correct. And so I think bar none, that's a much more attractive job. Like look at Florida is it's more of like that sexy flashing up. I mean, look at their history. Outside of
I
a
know.
small stint in the 90s, a small stint with Urban Meyer, they've been obsolete
Yeah,
forever.
that's
Forever.
true.
And so I think there's more headaches, there's more pressure for whatever reason. There's more obstacles at Florida than a Penn State or than an LSU. And so I just thought it was like sexy to be in Florida, sexy to be a Gator, the swamp, all those things. But yeah, Death Valley, you kidding me? Yeah, man. If Lane's going somewhere, it's now going to be there.
I agree. I agree. I think Florida fans right now should be pretty upset the fact that they just got rid of him because of
Right.
the fact that I do think LSU has more tradition. Obviously,
Yeah.
LSU has had more success in the past 25 years with multiple coaches, not just, Urban Meyer being one of the best coaches of all time and the success that he had with a generational talent in Tim Tebow. But LSU has been proven they have been able to win early 2000s when you and I are in school, obviously as of late, even with a guy like Ed Orgeron having success. So
Right.
I agree from you own a state when it comes to recruiting in Louisiana. You have all the resources that you need. I mean, I think I even saw something today from Dan Mullen, and that his biggest thing, and I've talked to him personally about this too, is he never felt like Florida fully gave him all the resources that he needed
Correct.
to have success.
Correct.
And I don't think that's the problem at LSU. If you want something or need something in Louisiana when it comes to building a championship program, everything is there for you to get that.
Yeah.
Even this year, they went and said, "Hey, we need more money for the portal." More money showed up, and all of a sudden, look at what that roster's done, especially on the defense side of the football. So if you tell me if you can give me Lane Kiffin, and I don't know what he would do with his staff, but you make him head coach and keep Baker as DC in that state with those resources, and the talent that you can get, that is a dynamic duo when it comes to head coach slash OC and Lane, and then Baker at the defensive coordinator position. If he does keep him, I don't know what he's going to do there
It's a
if
big
he ever
headache.
is named. But
It's like an
does Lane
instant
need to leave
power
though? Like,
swing.
is this Lane's waiting for the perfect opportunity? Is this now the perfect
I,
opportunity?
I don't know what's more perfect. I don't know. Like Alabama, but Alabama's fine. Like they're good. They're not
Yeah,
going anywhere. I don't know what the better possible if you think there's something better than where you are, I don't know what else it could be. I mean, this is it. Unless he wants to go back to the NFL, which I don't think he does. So this is the job. And so now you look at the dominoes and the domino effect that this is going to create. Let's just do a little quick prediction here. Let's say Lane goes there. Lane's going to go to LSU. I think John Summerall gets the call at Ole Miss. I think that's a grand
yeah,
slam.
I
I
agree.
think that's a great call there. And honestly, we're going to talk about these games. Sorry, y'all. This is just crazy news here. I think the Missouri Vandy game should have, could have, is an audition for the Florida job. I think Clark Lee needs that job. I think you hire Clark
Why
Lee.
would Clark leave Vandy? That's his home. That's his alma mater. Like, I don't know, like, he's now turned
14
Vandy.
million reasons why, 12 million reasons. I mean, it's
I
Vandy.
don't
And
know, but I think at
if
the
you
end of the day,
feel
like,
like what you're
we're saying,
doing is
like, you
sustainable,
just
then
said, like,
sure.
the success at Florida has not been consistent.
Right. No, I hear you. I hear you.
At some point in your career, are you happy where you are? And that's the one thing we always talk about with
Right. It's
coaches.
a
Like,
great
there
question.
are some that, like, feel like, "Hey, man, like, this is where I wanna be. I'm home." Perfect example, I had ASU this weekend. I sat down with Kenny Dillingham and talked to him. He's like, "Dude, this is my dream job. Like, I went
Yeah.
here. I'm
Yeah.
from here. Like, I get to coach ASU. Like, this is everything I want." And I think Clark is the same way. Like, I know he's being thrown around all over the place because he turned Vanderbilt into a top 10 program this season. And can he do without Diego Pavia going forward? I don't know. But at some point, you're making enough money and you're living in a place where that you want to live. Is it worth the headaches of trying to go to a place like Florida,
Right.
which has
Right.
not had incredible success? Like,
And
I don't
honestly, they
think he
probably don't
wants to
care about
leave.
you. They probably could care less about you,
Yes.
right? And there is something to it. And I love that. I mean, I want that
Yep.
everywhere. You look at Georgia Tech, you look at Georgia, you look at Vandy, you look at Arizona State. That's cool when
Yeah.
that's happening, and it just means so much more. And I'm sure there's other examples that I missed, but that's a cool thing to me. And I'm all about that. I just figured that would be a great opportunity if he wanted something that he kind of showed it. Okay, everyone talking about Drink being the guy. Well, you just beat that guy. So if
Yeah.
you were looking to move, I think that you certainly got a leg up kind of doing that. But these dominoes, like I said, and these open, I mean, there are mass and the news at Texas. Who do you think leaked that? Like that was a very highly coveted NFL reporter
Yeah.
that reported that. That's not just willy-nilly, it went crazy. That's a big dog that said that. And that came from somewhere very credible.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be fascinating.
It is. It is. I mean, just to be able to now say we are we are just a little bit over halfway through the season, maybe a couple weeks after halfway, and job openings are at Florida, Penn State, LSU. And there will be more. I keep hearing Florida State could open this week too. You're talking about some of the biggest programs in America, and then the domino effect from there.
Yeah.
Missouri, a Vanderbilt, an Ole Miss, whoever. Like it is just going to be. This could end up being the craziest cycle when it comes to head coaching movement in
Right.
college football, and then it trickles down to what players then leave said universities to go with that coach, and then
Yeah.
it's just it is going to be um, one of the craziest off seasons I think that we've ever experienced, and I know it's
Yeah.
been crazy with the transfer portal. I think this year is going to be even wilder because of the coaching moves and how big they are.
And let me throw this wrinkle in here too. So we just discussed how we think Lane Kiffin's going to be the guy at LSU or their first target. When do you hire him if they're in the college football playoff? He's just going to leave Ole Miss in the
Yeah,
first round in the
yeah.
first round bye? Like what? What are we talking? How can he not go in December? You got to recruit. You got to get the staff. You got to get it. This is going to be wild.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely wild. And do we literally see? Not saying it's just him. Could be others. A coach leave a playoff team to go to
I don't
their
think they could
new
ever
head
do
school.
that. I think you could, but then it gets tricky because even if you're hired, I
What if
mean,
you're
what's
winning?
what's the feeling in the locker room? Get ready for a
That's what
game,
I'm
and is my
saying.
coach truly
Right.
fully into prep as he's obviously getting ready to take a head coaching job somewhere else? It's going to be
Crazy.
very interesting to see if he is the guy, how he
Yeah.
juggles it. But I mean, we've been over the names of different people. I do think that like I I knew Summerall's in there in state and he's had a lot of success. I don't think LSU is going to get him. I think LSU is going to swing for the fences.
Yeah. I
They're
agree.
gonna swing for the fences.
Yeah.
Mm. Wow,
I
man.
agree.
Well, I'm glad we actually recorded this when we did and didn't miss this.
I know, it's pretty nice.
Do
Nice
it.
that it worked out. You took a red
Oh,
eye. I had a delayed flight, and we're like, "We'll
yeah.
just do it after bedtime."
Yep.
Not bad.
Wow. All right, that's the big news. All right, let's talk a little bit A&M real quick because that was LSU. Let's talk a little A&M. Is A&M the best team in college football? Because right now, that defense, that defensive line, the running game, Marcel Reed, the receivers, Concepcion and the special teams era, like that team to me, there's not a lot of holes. I know the defense has had some moments this year where they haven't played maybe up to what we expect them to play to because we see greatness and then we see some pretty bad. But overall, this team is damn good. And I think Marcel Reed kind of proved to us this week, like, hey, I can make some mistakes early on the road against a quality defense in a very hostile environment in a do or die situation for LSU as they're battling for their head coach, as they're battling for their lives, and then still make the second half adjustments and just completely ball out in the second half. I mean, what he did with his legs, what he did throwing the football, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country this year. He showed me a lot this weekend. So I love A&M. I'm sitting
Yeah.
back saying, like, I think this team could beat anyone in the country.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way they're looking, and I think, the interesting thing of this game that we were fascinated in seeing, okay, that LSU defense at home at night. Are they gonna turn up enough to be able to slow this team down? Are they gonna turn up enough to be able to cause some chaos? And from Jump Street, that answer was no. And more in particularly in the third quarter, that answer was no. And just seeing the attack, seeing the grit, seeing the level of intensity that we did from Texas A&M. I know it's been hammered to death, but Aaron, I have never ever seen that place turn into that. I've never seen it where the literal fans take over. They're doing their chants. You can't hear any type of Tiger things going on. You only hear the other. And so for me, that was fascinating. And I think A&M is like we said, turning into maybe the favorite in this league. You know, Bama just struggled, and we'll talk about them in a second. These guys feel like they're ascending and feel like
Yep.
they're really playing at another level here. So I'm all in with this, and what we're seeing from these guys. I love the defense. They are suffocating. They will hit you. They will not allow you to convert. And how about, just our guy dancing around like a madman on the line of scrimmage there, just talking trash to his offensive lineman, just looking him
You
dead
talking
in
about
the face,
Cassius Howell?
Cassius
Dude,
Howell,
that
and
dude
going
is a
nuts, going
freak.
nuts. He looked like a just a crazy pit bull over there, man, saying, "Let's go." I'm all in with that. He was
I covered
tenacious.
Cassius Howell his last season at was it Bowling Green? I had one of his last games of the season. Um, one of those, like, midweek games. I had, like, a doubleheader that week, and, yeah, I remember watching him, and everyone on the staff's like, "Dude, this dude's not gonna be here next year. He's gone." Like, we're just enjoying it while he's here because he's going somewhere else, and he's gonna get paid a lot of money to go somewhere else, and obviously,
Yeah,
he's went to a place that can afford to pay a talent like that, and now he is just on a he's terrifying. He's been
yeah,
that all year, though, 10 sacks this
right,
season.
right, right.
And you're going against an LSU offensive line that has obviously struggled in a big way, playing a lot of guys, rotating a lot of guys, and he just absolutely took advantage.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, there's not a lot of holes on this football team, if any.
No,
One that
and
does
I think that D line's performance, just the defense's performance in general, 11 tackles for loss, 7 sacks. I mean that's how you
dude,
dominate a football game.
he hit the quarterback one time so
Oh
hard,
yeah,
I felt it
I saw you
in the
streak
booth in at ASU. I
300
mean,
miles
he hit
away.
the living crap out of him. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh my god." He didn't wanna get up,
no,
Nussmeier. I mean, Nussmeier,
yeah,
Nussmeier is banged up. He's been banged up all year, but he looked like his soul was taken from his body in that football game, and he didn't
yeah.
wanna be there anymore.
Right, and I
Completely
think
taken.
just the adjustment piece of it and how good of a coach Elko is, man, and that strength staff, and I know his name's slipping my mind right now. What's the strength coach's name? Do you remember his name?
Oh, the one that got fired?
Yeah, that they literally
Um,
Brian Kelly fired on day 1, and apparently it's like In the Rain, Tommy something maybe. It's like this most epic.
Tommy
Yeah,
Moffett, yep.
Coach Moffitt, man. It's this epic, like, bad story. The guy's walking out in the rain. He's been there 3 decades, won 1 billion championships, and you fire this guy. Now he ends up at A&M, and 2 years in a row, they just pound your face into the dirt. Like, it just dominates you, like 63 or 60 to 3
Yeah.
second half score, for both these games combined. That's nuts. That's coaching, that's strength and conditioning, that's discipline, and, it's easy to see why this was the final straw on the camel's back there, and just the embarrassing nature that now this going to be unranked LSU team is dealing with,
Yep.
and just I don't know, all the hype, all the expectation to get pummeled like that at home.
Mhm.
Um, it's
The reason
obvious
why Brian
why
Kelly's fired
they're
right
doing
now.
it.
I mean, that was
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
embarrassed like that, the student section was chanting, "Fire Brian Kelly."
right.
It kinda
The
like I said,
signs that
I still
must
didn't know if they
go,
were to
all
go
that,
through it because of the
crazy.
money,
Yeah,
um, but it kinda felt like that was the final straw, so, yeah, but to your point, A&M, damn good football team. Alright, let's jump to another game. Bama at USC, not Southern Cal, South Carolina. Um, it was a
it was a
not what
spooky
you
ass game, is
expected.
what it was.
But, like, we talk about I talk all the time, like, playing Auburn is a unique situation, there's always something weird going on, and games get a little bit crazier than maybe they should. I think playing at South Carolina is the same damn thing. It is a raucous environment that when things get going and there's any sort of momentum, that place is intimidating as hell to play. I played there twice. It was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. And obviously they were really good when I played there. They had a guy named Jadeveon Clowney that was coming off the edge. And I think South Carolina has a pretty good one coming off
Nightmare
the edge right now
fuel.
too. When that place gets rolling and the momentum's going, it feels like it's a boa constrictor just sucking the life out of you. And I don't care
Yeah,
how good you are or how good your season's going, it is an uphill climb. So was it Alabama's best performance? Was it Ty Simpson's best performance? No. But they found a way to win. They found a way to get a couple turnovers and obviously the turnover late, and they won the damn football game.
yeah. I mean,
And after the stretch they've been through with all the
right.
ranked teams they've had to play, they got through it. Now they can breathe going into the bye week.
Yeah, just the fact that you can respond. You're down, 14 to 22. You respond, march down the field, 14 play, 80-yard, 8-minute drive to tie it up, have a sick 2-point conversion, make it 22-22. And then your defense turns right around and gets the ball back on one of the best players in the entire country. And you march down again and score. for the game winner, walk it off. It just shows moxie. It shows a team,
Yeah.
just like Kirby said a week ago, 2 weeks ago, they're hard to kill. You know, when
Yeah.
when you have these teams that have championship DNA, that expect to win, that no matter how much time's left, no matter what the situation is, those teams are hardest to beat. And when you have the players that, Alabama does, that expects that, and the way they're playing right now and the run, that they went on beating this teams and being on the road, as you said, in a very challenging environment, you got to come together. And that they absolutely did. I think there is something to it, just as well when like you're in a funk and things are bad, it's just there's nothing you can do. Like you have to imagine any other time South Carolina wins that game. Like they
Yeah.
find a way, they hold off, they play like they had all game long, and they win. And they didn't. And that just feels like how this whole season is. You're 1-5 in the SEC, a team that was in the top 10 in the second or third week of the season.
The
And
inconsistency from Lenoris, you
right.
saw you saw highs from him in the game, especially
Yes.
running the football, but then you saw the lows with the turnovers and then the fumble late. And you kind of felt like, okay, Alabama's, scored, but now it's Lenoris' seller time to show the country that no matter how bad the first part of the season's been, that this is still one of the most gifted, talented quarterbacks in America.
Yes.
And then it came crumbling down again.
Right. What are
Just
your
heartbreaking.
thoughts on him? Like, let's just take 2 seconds here to talk about him.
Yeah.
Is he still in your mind a first round pick? And if he's not, and let's not address, nothing's happened coaches wise, so let's just assume they're all still there. Does he need to leave? And I know he's a very loyal guy, and his
Yeah.
brother's there, and his family's here, all these things. Does he need to leave to go and be developed another level, another step? Because clearly, maybe that's not necessarily happening. Where do you think he is right now?
I still think he's one of the most talented quarterbacks in America, and I do think it would probably be best for him to be in a situation where he has more support.
Yeah.
It is now a
So
second
it's not
straight
leave. You
year.
don't think go to the league after this year?
No, 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 no. I think he would be silly to go to the league this year. I think he needs to play more college football,
Yeah.
or he's gonna end up like Anthony Richardson. He needs to play
That's
more
exactly the comp that
football
I'm terrified of.
and go to somewhere that can develop him as a passer and have the talent around him to give him the ability to do so. South Carolina a year ago had no talent around him. It was him and Rocket. And he just took over games Cam Newton style. This year, obviously all eyes are on him. They don't have the same defense that they had a year ago.
Correct.
They can't rely on the defense and just running the football. He had to be elite as both a runner and a passer.
Right.
But same thing, he doesn't have elite talent around him.
Yeah.
And obviously a new system, a new play caller as well has been a big disappointment there for the Gamecocks. So if I'm him, I get the loyalty aspect of it, but there has to be a moment in which you say, I did everything I could. I love South Carolina.
Yeah.
But I have to be selfish for me. And if I'm Lenore Sellers, I am taking my talents not to the NFL, but to somewhere else next season.
Yeah.
Hell, maybe it's with Lane Kiffin at LSU.
That would be great. That would be fun. Because I think truly, and I know if there's any Carolina fans watching, maybe they'll watch it later. I truly think that he can be Cam Newton. I just think he
I do
needs
too.
someone who can make him that and help
Yes.
him be that from not only a coaching standpoint, but players. Like guys got to make plays, for him and protect him and give him time and give him a freaking snap. I mean, how many fake snaps have we seen from that center? I think there's like 8. I think there's been 8 false starts on the starting center right now, and there is a point where you can't be Superman every single play. Like
And
it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
yeah. So I think he needs to go. We'll see what it ends up being, but I don't think NFL needs to be. I think there's a lot of good quarterbacks coming out where I don't think he would even be drafted super high anyway. So I think if you're a guy that can make a couple $1 million in NIL next year, you stay in college football, develop, and then come out the following year. Back to Bama real quick. I'm going to do a full breakdown on Ty Simpson. Got my notes. Watch the tape. The tape felt better than live. I still thought
Right.
he played well. I love one, the fact that he doesn't turn the ball over, and then two, I love what they do with Bernard. Jeremy Bernard in crunch time, find him. Whatever you can, hand the football to him, put him in the backfield. I love that play where in the red zone, 3 go this way, he comes underneath back to the left, and it's an easy touchdown. I mean, such an incredible season that he's been having, as a go-to receiver there, but the problem is still with Alabama,
Yeah.
they can't run the football.
Yeah.
They can't run the football. Jam is healthy, Jam is playing, and Jam Miller had 26 yards, 2.6 yards per carry. They had 72 yards total, 3.1 yards
Yeah.
per attempt,
Yeah.
which is why we bring up the whole discussion of, is A&M the better team? Because
Right.
A&M can pass the football. Right now, the receivers as a tandem are playing better than Alabama's tandem,
Sure.
and they have the ability to run the football, and they have a better offensive line. And Marcel, I don't know, is as good as Ty, but he has the threat to run the football himself with his legs. So, like, if
Right.
you put both those teams on the field right now, Alabama would not be able to run the football on A&M.
No.
And I think A&M could run it on at Alabama, and they could
Yeah.
throw it on Alabama.
Yes.
So, like, I am leaning towards the fact that right now I am more impressed with what the Aggies are doing as a football team than Alabama, because there is a major weakness that continues to show up week in and week out, and that's the inability to run the football.
Yeah, I agree, and that's it's gonna get you eventually, right? Like, and
It almost got 'em this
is it
week.
right? Is it in SEC play? Is it in the SEC championship? Is it the first round or whenever you play first in the college football playoff? But the lack of balance is always an issue, and it's one of those things where you're going to run into some team that can take away the pass, and if you have nothing to lean on and you have nothing to show the threat of something where they can't just be in those type of situations, you're going to lose. And we thought they figured it out. We thought they had something going, and now it's kind of back to that same thing, because this defense for Carolina is not some world-beating, run-stopping
No.
defense. It's just you don't have the ability to do it as effectively as you should, and it's honestly fascinating between Hill and Miller, who Hill's looked great at times. I mean, there was a couple flashes where I was like, "Daggone, we need to get
Yeah.
this guy in the game more." But they just can't do it, and it's a shocking thing.
Yeah, it is. Ty Sims, I mean, talk about having to play a Heisman caliber. I mean, Ty's gonna have to continue to
Yeah,
play. And what you saw right there, when he didn't have his A game because he couldn't just sit back there and play 7-on-7 because there was actually pressure from South Carolina's defensive line, that's gonna be the big one when they go against most likely A&M in Atlanta,
right,
are they gonna be able to hold up
right.
and pass pro and run pro? And that's something that's gonna continue to be
That's
a
going to be
dead
a
moot point. And
fascinating
listen, they're
matchup.
going into a bye week.
Yeah,
Let's see if they figure some stuff out. They just got through a hell of a gauntlet, and see if they can, self scout, evaluate themselves, and then see if they need to change some things to get going a
right.
little bit, because I still think Jam's a really talented runner. I think
Of
obviously
course.
Ty Simpson could run the football. You could create ways to get Bernard the ball as out of the backfield. Ryan Williams, give him a freaking couple jet sweeps here or there, and that's
Let
rushing
him
yards
run.
too. So there's
He
plenty
made
of
some good catches
athletes.
at times too, though. He looked
Oh,
great.
yeah, he's
He
getting
looked
better
great.
and better every week. He's starting to make
Yeah.
some plays. Alright, let's get to the next game real quick. Ole Miss goes into Oklahoma. We thought there would be a little bit of a fatigue factor after the emotional loss and physical loss to Georgia the week before. They go in there, and Trinidad Chambliss continues to be that guy, one of the best quarterbacks in America. I thought the running game was well. I thought he made some big plays down the field, and they crushed the time of possession. 36 minutes time of possession. They just stayed on the field. Is Ole Miss one of the best teams in America? Is that a playoff team? Like, did they answer the
Uh,
question of mental fortitude, mental strength, physical strength, those back-to-back games, and then finding a way to win against Oklahoma this weekend?
Yeah, I think so, and because if you guys remember, last week, I was very adamant about this Sooner defense and thought
Yeah,
that they
mine too.
would, cause all kinds of havoc, which they did. I mean, they had 15 tackles for loss. That's
Yeah,
a
they
lot
played
of
good.
action in the backfield, but they only had the 1 sack, which obviously a guy in Trinidad, super hard to bring down, very mobile, and I thought he played, well. Obviously, he's
Yeah,
hanging around 50%, but 300 yards, pushing the ball downfield, and, that they just found a way. They just found a way, and this, Oklahoma offense, I mean, there were times where you saw John Mateer and you're like, "Okay, that's it." But it felt like there were way more times where I'm just like, "This is
it was
not
bad.
good football. This just isn't fun to watch."
Yeah, I talk about the Ty Simpson breakdown I'm doing. I just finished taking my notes on John Materin in the game, and there's a couple of moments, like you said, where it looked good, but there are 3 or 4, and you're gonna be flabbergasted for those who obviously don't have access to the all 22 where you can see the entire picture. There are 3 or 4 times that receivers are wide open for 40, 50, 60-yard touchdowns, wide open, busted coverages, and he's either gets away from the read too fast or doesn't see it, and it's like, dude, like, that play, it's man coverage, and you have a corner route, and this concept, that should be a high alert, and you're not throwing to a wide open receiver. There's a pump fake to the screen, and the receiver's like stalk and go. Well, both DBs jumped, and the stalk route is wide open for a touchdown, and he gets
Right.
off of it and starts to run around. Like, he doesn't trust his offensive line. I think there's still hesitation because of the injury. There's a lack of playmaking like we saw early in the season. I think there's also a fear of turning the football over. So I feel like he's been told that his superpower, the playmaking ability, has gone a little bit too far,
Right.
and now he's playing scared.
Yeah. Which is
And
unfortunate.
that is a problem. I
And I mean
saw
the
I saw
injury
a
too. I mean,
confident
it
quarterback early
broke
in the
his hand.
season, and
Yeah.
I saw a guy this past weekend that was not confident at all throwing the
Right.
football.
How much of the injury do you think is a part of that too? Like, I mean, when you get hurt, you're scared to play the same.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is his 3rd game back from the injury, so I think at this point,
Just saying
I don't
mentally.
know how much I can blame the injury on it. I think he's gun shy of making a mistake,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
and it's
unfortunate
costing
because
him plays down the field.
I thought he was gonna be able to be Superman all year. We keep saying that. It's hard, man. Quarterback,
Yeah.
it's freaking hard, especially when
Well, it's
you
also
don't really have a
they
run
don't
game
have
to help
dudes,
you.
man, like, I
Yeah.
hate to put all the blame on him, but you're gonna see too when I do this breakdown, there are 3 or 4 times where the receivers stop running.
Yeah.
Just stop running. There's a hole shot versus cover 2, so you have an out route with a go ball, and the corner sits, and he throws the hole shot, and the
Yeah.
receiver just stopped running. He thought he was running a clear out, and he's like, "Oh, like, the I'm just gonna stop running," and you're just like, so a offensive line, not great.
Yeah.
Run game, non-existent. Receivers, average, and then the quarterback that has kind of been handcuffed of not being able to play like his gunslinging self turns into a really terrible offense.
Right.
I thought 90% of what I saw from Oklahoma yesterday was pure crap.
Yeah.
Crap.
No. I agree.
Against a defense that is not very good,
No.
and you're at home.
Which is
So, I
unfortunate
look at
because you
Oklahoma
can't
now
make a
and you
move.
say, at Tennessee, at Alabama, Missouri, LSU. I mean, at best, 8-4?
Probably. Probably what it's gonna shake out to be.
Oof.
Brutal.
I mean, is that another one? I mean, if Oklahoma's 7-5, is that another one? We kinda got away from it because of the hot start,
I mean,
but if
eventually
you're
people
seven
gotta
and
keep who they
5,
got. Like, who are you hiring? Like, everybody
Lane
wants the same
Kiffin,
people. Who are you gonna go get? Who'd you say? I didn't hear you if you said somebody.
Lane Kiffin.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. Lane Kiffin's gonna have 12 jobs. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
he's gonna be at his house. He's gonna have different monitors for different games, and he's just gonna
Remote
call a
in.
play per one
It
virtually
could work. Why not?
and get paid $40,000,000,
Yeah,
$10,000,000
by
per
all of
tool. Oh my god.
Oh gosh,
Lane is
unbelievable.
just sitting back,
Yeah,
just loving life because he is everyone wants a
just
piece of Lane
cruising,
Kiffin.
just
But
cruising.
who else is out there? Like, truly, like, let's be honest here, and I
That's what
hate
I'm saying. You gotta stop
like,
firing people at
who
some
is
point.
out there that is everyone gets so mad, like, "Oh, just Lane, Lane, Lane." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Who else would you want? Who
exactly,
do you want?
exactly. Because
Besides
they're
Lane Kiffin,
yeah,
who
yeah.
do you want?"
Because are you gonna take a risk? Are you gonna go get a G5 head coach? Are you gonna take a coordinator who's never coached as a head coach before? Are you gonna what are you gonna do? Are you gonna take
He's like,
a
Lane's
little
an
wide
interesting part
receiver
because, like,
coach?
Ole Miss is still
I
like
know.
that no, they're not they're playing above their historical point.
Correct.
They're not a blue blood, and there are now blue blood jobs open.
Right. Exactly. It's tough. It's tough.
But he's still right now a top 5 coach. He's a top
Sure,
5 coach
sure.
that is not at a top 5 program or a top 10 historic program.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
So that
It's
is why.
fascinating. Yeah.
That is why.
We'll see.
Oklahoma, a lot of issues, man. Ole Miss, they got South Carolina, Citadel, Florida, and at Mississippi State. 3 home games and at Mississippi State. 11-1 Ole Miss playoff with a head coach that may not be there next year. What a world we live in, EMAC.
Fun
What a
time.
world we live in. All right, we got like 1, 2, 3, 4 more, 5 more games we're just gonna touch on briefly. We're gonna push our top 15 teams to another show this week. So you guys can stay tuned to that one and we'll kind of discuss our top 15 teams in college football. We'll obviously post that to create some discussion and have some fun with it on social media. But if you want to get more in depth of why we have certain teams where they are, we'll have that as a segment at some point here this week on the show. All right, let's get out of the SEC real quick.
Come
Georgia
on.
Tech, Syracuse.
They're
Georgia Tech is for real.
good, man.
For real. And every time I say it, people are like, "Oh, what's their schedule? What's their schedule?" What? I'm like,
What's
just watch the
anybody's
damn
schedule?
tape. Just watch it, bro. Like
Yeah.
they are a Haynes King is turning into America's quarterback,
Yes.
playing lights out. Incredible what he's doing in the air on the ground.
Yeah.
Hard-nosed football team. And I know Syracuse is reeling, and Syracuse is without their starting quarterback, yada, yada, yada. Georgia Tech is going to be 11-0 as they face Georgia for the last game of the season.
Yes. And I
And
cannot wait.
and they almost and should have beat Georgia a year ago, and they're in a better position this year to beat Georgia.
Right. They are. They are. And they're healthy. Knock on wood. They stay that way. They've got some veteran pieces that have stepped up, man. And they've got that quarterback, Haynes King, balling. My biggest thing from him this week was I wanted to see him throw the ball more downfield. Not effectively. He's 72 plus for the season. Like he's been very
Really
effective
good.
with his arm, but I wanted to see him push it, and he did that. He threw for 304 yards, should have had 5 tutties through the air. He had 2 drop touchdowns, and it pissed me off that the guys didn't make it happen. One was a field goal, and I think the other, maybe they ran it in afterwards, but he should have had 5 passing touchdowns, total 395 yards, 5 touchdowns on the day. He had 2 on the ground. I mean, this guy needs to be in everybody's Heisman talk. This guy needs to
Oh
be
my
in
gosh.
everybody's, because you look at best player, team needs him the most, what he does at that position. And I saw this graphic too, Aaron. I'll have to send it to you so you can see it. And it showed Sayans, it showed Mendoza, it showed Ty Simpson. There was one other guy I can't remember. And Haynes King averages more yards total per game than all of them. Like this guy's just different, man, and he's doing it all for his team. He's undefeated. He's number 7 in the country, and they just win. It's fun to see it. So I think defense is going to kind of be the similar to Bama with their run game. Their defense is a little concerning. You know, when they do play Georgia, is it going to be the exact same game? Is it going to be a shootout? Is it going to be who has the ball last? Who's going to win? Because it's hard for them to stop.
Who's better
anybody right
2-point conversion plays for overtime?
now.
Probably.
Do you think Buster Faulkner has about 20 of them lined up?
Oh, yeah.
You think he learned from that?
That game is going to be, I think it's Friday night, maybe. Is it Friday night again?
It's Friday night in Atlanta. We maybe need to find a way to be at that game. We might need to find a way.
I may be like, yeah, I'll fly out to my game Saturday morning just so I
Exactly,
can be
Saturday
in town for that one. It's going to be bonkers. But Georgia Tech, we both big fans of what Georgia Tech is doing this season. All right, big game that is obviously not a Power 4 game, but a Group of 5 game and a playoff type game. Memphis comes back to take down USF, which was very surprising. You and I are very high on USF. And Memphis comes back and USF misses a last second field goal. So now all of a sudden you look at the American, which you kind of feel like the American is going to be the conference that pushes forward a team. And you got Navy, who's undefeated in the conference. I actually have Navy this weekend, so excited to see them this weekend versus North Texas, who's 3-1 in the conference, 7-1 overall. Tulane is undefeated in the conference. Tulane plays, I think, Memphis in 2 weeks. So that's going to be a big one on November 7th, Tulane at Memphis. And obviously you still have the championship game in the American. So there's a lot of craziness still left. Let's go to Memphis. Memphis has Rice Friday night, should take care of business. Tulane going to be the big one. And then they have Navy last game of the season. So there is a lot that still can happen. But for Memphis to kind of say, hey, we're at least better than USF and won that football game, kind of now feels like puts them in the driver's seat, feeling like they could be that Group of 5 team to be represented in the playoffs this season. So a
Yeah,
lot of the season
yeah.
still to go, but a monster win for them this weekend against USF.
It was huge, and for them to have 17-point fourth quarter, I mean, they found a way, and I was very impressed with Brendan Lewis, man. He was a guy that, not that he hadn't relied on his arm, but he did a lot with his legs too. I thought he was tremendous throwing the ball downfield, made some huge, huge plays, had a couple of big shots that were just kind of momentum stealing. And USF still played their game, ground and pound, almost rushed for 300 yards. That's hard. That's hard to lose when you rush that
Yeah.
well. But they found a way, and Memphis, like you said, I think in really good positioning just with the rankings. We'll see when November comes around, when those first college football playoff rankings come out. But it is a fascinating thing how well those kind of big dogs are playing in the American right now.
Trying to look right now. So the
You look at
first
Sun
group of
Belt,
5
Mountain West.
team
Yeah,
right now would
yeah,
be them.
yeah. Memphis.
So yeah, is Memphis. So they're in a good spot right now, and they have some good games ahead of them that they take care of business. That is only
Yeah.
going to solidify them as a team to make it this season. All right, let's get back to the SEC. Missouri goes to Vandy, and Vandy, another fan favorite of the show, of the Mac and Murray College Football Show, finds a way to win a defensive struggle. Off neither offense could get going.
No.
6 total points in the first half. Both these defense showed up, stopped the run, stop the opposing quarterback. Then Bo goes out. I actually thought Matt Zollers played really well for
Yeah.
backup duty for a freshman, for goodness sakes. But still, Vanderbilt, the dream stays alive. They continue to find ways to win. And now Diego Pavia continues to also boast himself as a favorite to win the Heisman, which I do not agree with, but still think he should be in the conversation to at least be in New York. But I do think there's other better players. But I love his game, just like we talked about with Haynes King. Love this team, love their tenacity, love the way they fight, and they gutted out a big time win against a ranked opponent.
Yeah, there's something to be said about winning games and finding ways, to win. But golly, this had to be one of the ugliest games I've ever watched. I mean, you're just talking about 3 and out, 5 plays and out, 3 and out. And in the first quarter, I think there was a total of maybe 25 yards to be had. And you're just like, this is brutal. This is terrible. And really, that was the way the whole game. But you're gonna have things like that, man. And
Yep.
and I actually ran into Cole Kublik in the airport in Charlotte today, and he said, it just feels like it's going to be more than ever all about matchups when we get to this playoff, because there is no elite team. Maybe it's Ohio State, maybe not, but we don't know, and we won't know because they're not going to be tested till the championship game, the Big Ten championship. It's all about styles. How do you want to
Yep.
fight? How can you do it? How can you game plan for one freaking game and move on?
And situational football.
And
I think
situational football. I mean, it's
third
gonna be
down, maybe
nuts.
third
It's gonna be
downs, red
nuts.
zones, which come down to a lot of matchups. Like who's my guy that can win individual matchups on those critical down and distances are going to be the key down the stretch for a lot of these games. But hey, a win is a win, and now they got a big time matchup against Texas this weekend. Real quick on Texas, hey, another ugly one on the road against Mississippi State, but hell of a comeback. That's going to be interesting to see what Arch and his health is going to be like as he prepares and they prepare for Vanderbilt this weekend.
Yeah.
So we appreciate y'all, man. Like, subscribe. A lot to get through this week. We'll have plenty more content. Go to the YouTube channel, Mac and Murray. Follow us on socials as well. We'll give you all of our thoughts, film breakdowns all week long as we get ready for more and more great college football the rest of the way. So appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your Sunday night, and we will be back with more here on the Mac and Murray College Football Show.
Somebody just